Introduction: Elvis Presley, the American superstar who captured the hearts of countless women worldwide, actually had only one true love throughout his life. This woman loved him back, and he considered her as the one for whom he lived. She was his best girl, whom he always placed on a pedestal above all others in his life. Elvis first encountered his true love, Anita Wood, when she was only 15 years old. In the early 1960s, they began a public romance, appearing together in numerous events and dazzling fans with their special bond. Elvis, despite his growing fame and numerous romantic connections, never strayed from his affection towards Anita. He even referred to her as the only girl he truly loved. Anita Wood remained Elvis's constant companion and close friend throughout his life, and they shared a close relationship that lasted until his death. Although they never officially married and had no children together, their bond nevertheless remained unwavering, and Anita even cared for Elvis's daughter, Lisa Marie, after his untimely passing. Had Elvis Presley lived a longer life, it is probable that he would have eventually married Anita Wood. Even without a formal union, their love story continues to be one of the most poignant and secret-kept elements of Elvis's life. To the few who knew of their deep bond, Elvis's notion of Anita being his best girl and true love remains a cherished celebrity secret. Elvis and Anita's mutual love and commitment, though unspoken and private, will live on as the most profound, romantic aspect of his life. Meanwhile, Elvis Presley's relationship with his mother Gladys was truly unique and special. Their bond was one that would be remembered forever, a connection that was built on a deep love and devotion for each other. Elvis and his mother had a lifelong baby talk that no one else could understand, a special language that was all their own. This unique way of communicating was a testament to the strength of their relationship and the special bond they shared. Gladys was Elvis's rock, his guiding light, and his safe haven. She was the one person who truly understood him, and he was deeply devoted to her. As a son, Elvis was determined to comfort his mother, to make her happy, and to take care of her. He was deeply concerned about her well-being, and did everything in his power to ensure that she was comfortable and content. Their relationship was not without its challenges, however. Gladys was a worrier, always fretting about something or other, and Elvis did his best to reassure her and calm her fears. He was a devoted son, always looking out for his mother's best interests and doing everything he could to make her happy. Despite the challenges they faced, their bond remained strong, a testament to the deep love and devotion they shared. Gladys was Elvis's biggest supporter, always encouraging him to pursue his dreams and never giving up on him. She was his confidant, his partner in crime, and his best friend. He trusted her implicitly, and she was the one person he could always count on to be there for him. Their relationship was built on trust, love, and mutual respect, a bond that would last a lifetime. As Elvis's fame grew, so did his devotion to his mother. He did everything in his power to make her happy, buying her a beautiful home and showering her with gifts. He was deeply grateful for her love and support, and he never forgot the sacrifices she had made for him. Despite the pressures of fame, Elvis remained a devoted son, always putting his mother's needs before his own. Their relationship was a source of strength and comfort for Elvis, a reminder of the love and support that was always there for him. He drew on this strength whenever he needed it, using it to fuel his music and his performances. Gladys was his muse, his inspiration, and his guiding light, and he was forever grateful for her love and devotion. Growing up in a low-wage family, Elvis Presley's early life was far from luxurious. Yet it laid the foundation for his future success as the best-selling solo musical artist of all time. Born to Vernon and Gladys Presley, Elvis was their only child, and his parents' love, especially his mother's, played a crucial role in his life. Gladys Presley was extremely devoted to her son, often sacrificing her own needs to provide for him. She was a constant source of encouragement and support, recognizing Elvis's unique talent from an early age. Elvis's father, Vernon, worked multiple jobs to make ends meet, but the family struggled financially. Despite their economic difficulties, the Presleys were a close-knit family, and Elvis's parents instilled in him strong values and a love for music. Gladys Presley, in particular, was instrumental in nurturing Elvis's musical talents, buying him his first guitar and encouraging him to sing in church choirs and local talent shows. As Elvis grew older, his mother's influence continued to shape his life and career. She remained his closest confidant, and he often sought her advice and guidance. Gladys Presley's unwavering support and devotion helped Elvis navigate the challenges of his early music career and her presence was a constant source of comfort and reassurance. Elvis's family background, though marked by financial struggles, was rich in love and support. His parents' sacrifices and encouragement laid the groundwork for his future success, and his mother's influence, in particular, played a pivotal role in shaping his life and career. As Elvis's star continued to rise, he never forgot the humble beginnings and the unwavering support of his family, especially his mother, who remained his guiding light throughout his life. Following the union of Gladys Love Smith and Vernon Presley in 1933, the couple found themselves in a situation where Vernon had lied about his age for the marriage license. This deception was likely done to meet the requirements for marriage, as Vernon was underage at the time. The newlyweds decided to return to Tupelo, Mississippi, where they would start their life together. It was here that Gladys would give birth to twins, a significant event in the life of the young couple. However, the birth would be marked by both joy and sorrow, as one of the twins was stillborn. The surviving son, Elvis, would go on to bring immense joy and pride to his parents, and his life would be forever intertwined with the love and support of his family. As Elvis Presley grew up, a significant event in his life would forever change the dynamics of his relationship with his mother, Gladys Presley. The loss of his twin brother, Jesse Garon Presley, who was stillborn, had a profound impact on Gladys, leaving her with a deep-seated fear of losing her only remaining child, Elvis. This fear would eventually lead to a highly protective bond between Elvis and his mother, with Gladys constantly worrying about his well-being and safety. As a result of this loss, Gladys became extremely attached to Elvis, and their relationship grew stronger with each passing day. Elvis, too, was deeply affected by the loss of his twin brother, and felt a sense of responsibility towards his mother, who was struggling to cope with the grief. This sense of responsibility would only intensify when Elvis's father, Vernon Presley, was sentenced to 3 years in prison for forging a check. Vernon's imprisonment had a significant impact on the Presley family, and Elvis, who was just a young boy at the time, felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. With his father away, Elvis became the rock that his mother leaned on, and their bond grew even closer. Gladys, who was already struggling to make ends meet, relied heavily on Elvis for emotional support, and he did his best to be there for her. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks turned into months, Elvis's role in the family became more prominent. He took on more responsibilities, helping his mother with household chores and looking after his younger self. Gladys, who was proud of her son's resilience and strength, encouraged him to pursue his passion for music, which would eventually become his ticket to stardom. Despite the challenges that the Presley family faced, Elvis's relationship with his mother continued to grow stronger. Gladys's fear of losing him never dissipated, but Elvis's presence in her life gave her the strength to carry on. As Elvis's music career took off, Gladys was always there to support him, and he, in turn, made sure to stay connected to his roots and the woman who had sacrificed so much for him. Meanwhile, Elvis and his mother Gladys had a special way of communicating with each other in baby talk, including a variety of pet names that only they understood. Elvis reportedly nicknamed his mother Satinin, a term of endearment that reflected the deep affection and bond they shared. This unique form of communication was a hallmark of their relationship and created a sense of closeness that was hard to penetrate. As a result of this special bond, Elvis's close relationship with his mother occasionally shut out his father, Vernon, making him feel like an outsider in the family. Vernon often felt like he was on the periphery of their little world, struggling to connect with his son on the same level as his wife. This dynamic created a sense of tension and jealousy within the family, with Vernon sometimes feeling left out of the special bond between Elvis and Gladys. Despite this, Vernon loved his son deeply and was fiercely protective of him. He worked hard to provide for his family and ensure they had a comfortable life. However, he often found himself struggling to compete with the intense bond between Elvis and Gladys, which seemed to grow stronger with each passing day. This complex family dynamic would have a lasting impact on Elvis's life, shaping his relationships and worldview in profound ways. As Elvis grew older, his relationship with his mother continued to be incredibly close. Gladys was his rock, his confidant, and his guiding light. She was the one person who truly understood him, and he relied on her for emotional support and guidance. This intense bond between Elvis and Gladys was a defining feature of their relationship, and it would remain a powerful force in Elvis's life until the end of his days. Gladys's unwavering faith in Elvis's potential had a profound impact on his life and career. She instilled in him the conviction that he was destined for greatness, a notion that was deeply rooted in her own experiences and emotions. The loss of Elvis's twin brother, Jesse Garin, at birth had a profound effect on Gladys, and she often spoke of the special bond that existed between twins. This sense of loss and longing may have contributed to her fervent belief that Elvis was chosen for something extraordinary. Gladys's conviction was further reinforced by Elvis's own fragile health as a child. He had survived a severe illness, and this near brush with mortality may have strengthened her resolve to nurture and protect him. Her unwavering faith in his abilities and her unshakable optimism played a significant role in shaping Elvis's self-perception and ambitions. Religion was an integral part of Elvis's life, and Gladys played a pivotal role in instilling in him a deep love and respect for the Bible. She would often read Bible stories to him, and these early lessons had a lasting impact on his spiritual development. The influence of these stories can be seen in his later compositions, particularly in his hymns and gospel music. Elvis's love for gospel music was deeply personal and reflective of his spiritual upbringing. Gladys's influence extended beyond the realm of music, and her strong faith and values had a profound impact on Elvis's worldview. She encouraged him to explore his spirituality and to seek guidance from the Bible. Elvis's own spiritual struggles and doubts were often tempered by his mother's unwavering faith, and he would frequently turn to her for guidance and reassurance. The bond between Elvis and his mother was incredibly strong, and her influence on his life and career cannot be overstated. Her unwavering faith in his abilities, her love of the Bible, and her own personal struggles and triumphs all contributed to the complex and multifaceted individual that Elvis became. As he navigated the complexities of fame and fortune, Elvis would often draw upon the lessons and values that his mother had instilled in him, and her influence would remain a constant source of comfort and inspiration throughout his life. Growing up in a humble household, Elvis Presley's early life was marked by his mother Gladys' highly protective nature. She was extremely cautious when it came to her son's well-being, often going to great lengths to ensure his safety and happiness. This protectiveness extended to his childhood activities, as Gladys forbade Elvis from participating in sports, fearing that he might get hurt. Instead, she encouraged his love for music, recognizing its potential to bring joy and comfort to their family. One notable example of Gladys' protective nature was when Elvis asked for a bicycle on his birthday. However, instead of granting his wish, she opted to buy him a guitar, which would later become an integral part of his life and career. This thoughtful gesture not only showcased Gladys' concern for Elvis's safety, but also demonstrated her desire to nurture his creative side. As Elvis grew older, he began to assume more responsibility for his family's financial troubles. Despite his young age, he became acutely aware of the struggles his parents faced in making ends meet. This awareness sparked a sense of determination within him, and he made a promise to himself to improve their situation. Elvis vowed to buy his mother a house and Cadillacs, a promise that would drive him to work tirelessly towards achieving success. This sense of responsibility weighed heavily on Elvis's shoulders, and he felt an overwhelming need to provide for his family. His love and devotion to his mother, in particular, played a significant role in shaping his ambitions. Gladys had always been his rock, his confidant, and his guiding light, and he felt deeply indebted to her. By assuming responsibility for his family's financial struggles, Elvis hoped to repay his mother's unwavering love and support. As Elvis navigated the challenges of his early life, he began to develop a strong sense of purpose and determination. His protective mother had instilled in him a sense of caution, but she had also encouraged his passion for music. This unique blend of traits would eventually propel Elvis toward stardom, enabling him to fulfill his promise to his mother and provide a better life for his family. Meanwhile, Elvis Presley's passion for music began to take shape as he entered his teenage years, winning a high school talent show with his rendition of a popular song. This early success fueled his desire to pursue a music career, and he began working odd jobs to make ends meet while he honed his craft. Elvis's love for music was evident in the way he spent his free time, often listening to the radio and trying to emulate the sounds of his favorite artists. As Elvis's skills improved, he started to make a name for himself locally, performing at various events and gatherings. His big break came when he recorded his first tracks at Sun Studio, a small recording studio in Memphis, Tennessee. The studio's owner, Sam Phillips, was impressed by Elvis's unique sound and decided to give him a chance. In 1954, Elvis's first record, That's Alright was released, and it quickly gained popularity. The song's success led to Elvis's first taste of fame, and he soon found himself performing on local radio stations and at various venues. His mother, Gladys Presley, was instrumental in supporting her son's music career, often accompanying him to his performances and providing encouragement. Elvis's manager, Colonel Tom Parker, also played a crucial role in his rise to fame, helping him to secure recording contracts and book performances. As Elvis's popularity grew, so did his desire to provide for his mother, who had always been his biggest supporter. One of the first things he did when he started earning money was to buy her a brand new Cadillac, a symbol of his gratitude for her unwavering support. With his mother and manager by his side, Elvis continued to work tirelessly to build his music career, performing at various venues and recording new tracks. His hard work paid off, and he soon found himself at the forefront of the music industry, with a legion of fans eagerly awaiting his next move. Elvis Presley's close relationship with his mother Gladys had a significant impact on the public's perception of him. Many people viewed him as a mama's boy due to the strong bond he shared with his mother. Gladys's protective nature often caused concern for Elvis's safety, and this perception was further fueled by the fact that she was extremely involved in his life. Gladys's influence on Elvis was evident in many aspects of his life, including his career and personal relationships. She was known to be fiercely protective of her son, often going to great lengths to ensure his well-being. This protectiveness sometimes led to friction between Elvis and his friends, who felt that Gladys was too controlling. Despite the challenges that came with having a mother as protective as Gladys, Elvis was deeply devoted to her. He often sought her advice and valued her opinion, and she played a significant role in shaping his values and worldview. Elvis's love for his mother was evident in the way he spoke about her and the way he treated her. One of the most significant ways in which Elvis showed his love and appreciation for his mother was by buying her dream home, Graceland. Gladys had always dreamed of owning a grand house, and Elvis was determined to make that dream a reality. He purchased Graceland in 1957, and it quickly became the family's home. However, Graceland ultimately turned into a place of disease, solitude, and melancholy for Gladys. She struggled with health problems, including heart disease and obesity, and her condition gradually deteriorated. Despite the best efforts of her doctors and family, Gladys's health continued to decline, and she eventually passed away in 1958. Elvis was devastated by his mother's death, and it had a profound impact on his life. He was deeply grief-stricken and struggled to come to terms with the loss of the woman who had been his rock and confidant. Graceland, which had once been a symbol of happiness and fulfillment, now became a reminder of the pain and sadness that Elvis fell a tenant in the years that followed. Elvis's relationship with Graceland became increasingly complex. On the one hand, it was a place that held many happy memories of his time with his mother. On the other hand, it was also a place that was deeply associated with her death, and the pain that he fell a tenant as a result. Elvis's feelings about Graceland were often conflicted, and he struggled to reconcile his love for the house with the sadness that it evoked. Despite these challenges, Graceland remained Elvis's home for many years, and it continued to play an important role in his life. However, it was never the same as it had been when his mother was alive, and it ultimately became a symbol of the pain and loss that Elvis had experienced. As Elvis Presley's music career continued to soar, he received a recruitment notice for the Army in 1958, which would change the course of his life forever. The news of his impending military service sent shockwaves through his family, particularly his mother, Gladys Presley, who was already struggling with her health. The worry and anxiety of being separated from her beloved son took a toll on her well-being, causing her to secretly drink and eventually leading to her hospitalization. Gladys's health issues were further complicated by her addiction to prescription medication and her tendency to overindulge in food and drink. Her condition continued to deteriorate, and despite the efforts of her doctors, she was unable to recover. On August 14, 1958, Gladys Presley passed away at the age of 46 due to acute hepatitis, a condition that was likely exacerbated by her years of poor health and excessive drinking. Elvis was devastated by the loss of his mother, who had been his closest confidant and supporter throughout his life. Her death marked the greatest tragedy of his life, and it would take him a long time to come to terms with the loss. Elvis was so grief-stricken that he was unable to attend his mother's funeral, and instead, he stayed at home, overcome with emotion. The loss of his mother had a profound impact on Elvis's life and career. He became withdrawn and isolated, struggling to cope with the pain of his loss. His music, which had always been a source of comfort and expression for him, became a way for him to process his grief and emotions. Elvis's music during this period was marked by a sense of sadness and longing as he struggled to come to terms with the loss of the woman who had been his rock and inspiration. Elvis's grief was so intense that it affected his relationships with those around him, including his friends and family. He became distant and detached, struggling to connect with others who were trying to support him through his difficult time. Despite the efforts of those around him, Elvis was unable to shake off the feeling of sadness and loss that had settled over him. In the years that followed, Elvis would continue to struggle with the loss of his mother, often finding solace in his music and his memories of her. He would go on to become one of the most successful musicians of all time, but the pain of his mother's loss would always be a part of him. Following his mother's death, Elvis Presley's life took a turn for the worse. He began to search for a sense of peace and comfort, which he found in Priscilla Beaulieu, a young woman he met while serving in the U.S. Army in Germany. Priscilla reminded Elvis of his mother, Gladys Presley, with her dark hair and striking features. The two began a romantic relationship, and Elvis eventually proposed to Priscilla in 1966. They married in 1967, and their daughter, Lisa Marie Presley, was born in 1968. Despite his marriage to Priscilla, Elvis's life continued to decline. He became increasingly dependent on prescription medications, which he used to cope with the stress and pressure of his career. His health began to deteriorate, and he gained a significant amount of weight. His marriage to Priscilla also began to fail, and the two eventually divorced in 1973. Elvis's addiction to prescription medications continued to worsen, and he became increasingly isolated from his friends and family. His performances became less frequent, and he was often unable to complete his shows due to his poor health. Despite his efforts to revive his career, Elvis was unable to overcome his addiction and personal struggles. In the final years of his life, Elvis's health continued to decline rapidly. He suffered from a range of health problems, including high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and liver damage. He also became increasingly paranoid and isolated, surrounding himself with a small group of friends and family members who enabled his addiction. On August 16, 1977, Elvis Presley was found unresponsive in his bathroom at Graceland, his Memphis home. He was rushed to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead at the age of 42. The cause of death was determined to be a heart attack, which was likely brought on by his years of prescription medication abuse. Elvis's death was a shock to his fans and the music industry, and it marked the end of an era in American music. Despite his personal struggles and tragic death, Elvis Presley's legacy continues to endure, and he remains one of the most beloved and influential musicians of all